Hey everyone, and welcome. All right, let's just jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most fundamental and honestly, most important tasks in web development, getting a slick user interface to talk to the backend where all the data lives. The best way to think about it? We're building a bridge, a digital bridge that lets information flow back and forth to create a really dynamic experience.
You know how it is. You land on a cool website, you click a few buttons, and stuff just happens. The page updates without reloading, your new profile picture saves instantly. But have you ever stopped to wonder how? How does the part you see, the front end, actually have a conversation with the part you don't see, the back end, to grab data and make changes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to pull back the curtain on today.
And to make this super clear, we're not just going to talk theory. Nope, we're going to get our hands dirty and build a simple but fully working employee management application. We're going to connect a React front end to a Node.js backend. This is where all those abstract ideas become totally real.
So, the easiest way to think about this? A restaurant. Seriously. The front end, our React app, that's the dining room. It's everything the customer sees and touches. The menus, the tables, the fancy decor. The back end, that's the kitchen. It's hidden away, doing all the heavy lifting. Storing the food, cooking the meals, managing all the data. Our React app sends an order to the kitchen, and the API in the back prepares the data and sends it right out.
Right, so before we start setting up tables and chairs in our dining room, we got to know what the kitchen's actually serving, right? We need to check out the menu that our backend API provides.
And it turns out, our kitchen is set up to handle 4 basic types of orders. In the dev world, we call these CRUD operations. It stands for create, read, update, and delete. And honestly, these 4 actions are the foundation for pretty much any app you can think of. Think of this table as our restaurant's menu. A GET request to /API employees is like asking the waiter, hey, can I see all the specials? It just fetches all the employee data. A POST request, that's you placing a brand new order. A PUT request is for updating an existing employee, kind of like changing your mind about your side dish. And a delete request, well, that one's pretty obvious. You're just canceling the order.
Okay, menu in hand, we know what we can order. Now it's time to actually set up our dining room. We've got to get our React application ready for customers and, more importantly, ready to start sending those orders to the kitchen.
And just like any good project, it starts with a little bit of prep work. The boring but necessary stuff. We'll spin up a new project with Create React App, get rid of all the default stuff we don't need, and set up a nice, clean folder structure. Trust me, getting organized now saves a ton of headaches later.
All right, prep work is done. Now for the exciting part. Let's place our very first order. This is the moment our application stops being just a pretty face and actually comes to life with real data.
So what's the plan here? Super simple. We're going to ask the kitchen for the full list of employees, and then we're going to slap that list right up on our digital menu board for everyone to see. Let's do it.
And this little snippet of code, this is the magic right here. That fetch command, that's our waiter literally running to the kitchen with a request. The first dot then is the kitchen handing back the food, and we're making sure it's in a format we understand, which is JSON. And that final dot then, that's us taking the delicious data and putting it on the user's plate, updating our app to show the list of employees.
And boom, just like that, our first victory. How cool is that? We've officially built that one-way bridge. Our app isn't static anymore. It's alive, breathing with real data coming straight from our back end.
Okay, so our customers can see the menu. That's great. But what if they actually want to, order something? It's time to make this thing interactive. We're going to build out the core of our app so users can add, update, and even remove employees. Time to let them send their own orders to the kitchen. So, first things first, let's let people add a new employee to the team. For that, we're going to need a form where a user can type in the new person's details and hit submit. This is the create part of CRUD. Now, take a look at this fetch call. It's a little different, isn't it? Notice that method, post part? That's us telling the kitchen, hey, this is a brand new order, not a request for info. And the body? That's the actual order details, the new employee's info, all nicely packaged up as JSON. Okay, this is a super, super important point, so let's pause here for a sec. Post versus put. A post is when you're creating something from scratch, walking into the restaurant and placing a totally new order. A put, on the other hand, that's when you're changing an order you already placed. It modifies something that already exists. And here's what that put request looks like in code. See the 2 big changes?
The method is put, obviously, but look at that URL. It's got the employee's specific ID tacked on the end. We're not just yelling into the kitchen, we're being super specific, telling the chef exactly which order we want to change.
All right, last piece of the puzzle for our interactive app, deleting a record. You know, sometimes an employee moves on and we need a clean way to remove them from the system.
And you know what? The delete request is probably the easiest one of them all. Seriously, we just set the method to delete and point it at the right employee ID in the URL. That's it. It's basically like yelling to the kitchen, cancel order number 123. Simple as that.
Okay, deep breath. We've built all the individual parts, right? We have our list to show employees, our form to add new ones, and another to edit them. Now it's time for the grand opening. Let's assemble all these pieces into one beautiful working application.
And the glue that holds all of this together is our main app.js file. Seriously, think of this file as the restaurant manager. It's the one running around, keeping track of the state of everything. It decides, okay, show the add employee form now, or nope, we're editing, so show that form. And all the while, it makes sure the main employee list is always visible and up to date. It's the central hub.
So there we have it. Our bridge is built, our restaurant is open for business. But before you go, let's just go over a few quick chef's notes. These are the little pro tips that'll keep the connection between your front end and back end healthy and strong.
Okay, 3 things to always remember. First, enable cores on your back end. Think of it like a security guard that, by default, doesn't let your front end talk to your back end because they're on different domains. You have to tell the guard it's okay. Second, always speak JSON. It's the universal language that everyone agrees on. And finally, validate your data everywhere. Check it on the front end for a good user experience, and check it again on the back end to keep your data safe and clean.
And that's it. You've just walked through the entire blueprint for a modern, full-stack web application. You've seen how the dining room and the kitchen communicate to create a seamless experience. You know how to build the bridge. So the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build next?